And my good friend, even though he was in the Navy, Roy Johnson. And we got another favorite.
I have to put up with that all the time. I tell everybody, my wife and I raised two boys, and we raised them the best we could, tried to teach them right from wrong, good from evil, and what happened? The oldest one joined the Army. But we're extremely proud of him, even though he is in the Army. He has done an excellent job. Comrade Officer of the Day, you will post the colors. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have the national anthem sung by Aaron Jennings.
Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very good, thank you. I would now like to introduce some of our distinguished guests. Congressman Dan Lipinski has just arrived. We have Mayor Dr. Sandra Berry. Village Clerk Jane Quinlan. Village Trustees Terry Voder and newly elected trustee Paul Mello. And Fire Chief George, Mike Mavro George. And the Police Chief Randy Palmer. I don't know if he's arrived yet or if he's here. We'd also like to thank the police and firemen for coming out today. Please rise and remain standing. Comrade Chaplain, you will now give the opening prayer.
On this Memorial Day, we are thankful for the sacrifice so many throughout our history have made. For the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for their families and for their families who had to carry the burden without them. It is a sacrifice that is easy to forget. For those who have it, freedom is like oxygen. It's something we just have. Many will understand just how precious either is until they are at risk of being taken away. There are encroachments being made on our freedoms right now by those who think they know better. This is a conversation for another time. Today we remember a sacrifice made and a debt we can never repay. Today we pray for the God of heaven to bless the families of those who have lost loved ones while serving our great nation. We pray God to bless and comfort the walking wounded who are still with us and bless their families as well. It is also our prayer that we remember their sacrifice and the precious gift of freedom every day, not just once a year or when in danger of being taken away. All this we pray in thy most holy name. Amen. Amen. Cover.
We will now have the presentation of wreaths. The first wreath to be presented will be the Gold Star wreath, which will be presented by myself and my wife, Betty Johnson.
The American Legion wreath will be presented by Commander Rich Bukowski and his wife Gail. And we'll switch.
The VFW auxiliary wreath will be presented by the VFW president, Maureen Lumen, and her husband, post chaplain, Rick Lumen. He's also our incoming commander. The VFW wreath will be presented once again by myself and my wife, Betty Johnson.
Okay. Oh, we got it. The Purple Heart wreath will be presented by past Stat Commander Dan Finn, and he'll be with Paul Marietta, who is going on the Freedom Flight in June. And Washington, D.C. will never be the same. More air crew.
Where are we going to get the speakers in?
Sure. This will work out.
I know what this guy just thinks he's going to sing after the Garden Club.
Yeah, tell them different. The next wreath will be from the Disabled American Veterans Post, presented by Al Purchett, and past DAV Commander and current DAV Commander Terry Vorderer. And his wife, Linda. I thought it was his daughter. And last but certainly not least, from the Oak Lawn Garden Club will be Rose Stevens. Okay, moving right along. At this time, we have some distinguished guests that we'd like to say a few words. If we could, we have Congressman Dan Lipinski, a real friend to veterans. Congressman.
Thank you. Thank you, Commander Lumen. I first have to apologize for being a little bit late here. This is my fourth event of 7 I'm doing today for Memorial Day. It's an honor to represent a district where people really understand what Memorial Day is all about. Not just the beginning of summer, but that's wonderful. But Memorial Day is about all those men and women who have died for us, for our freedom, so we could live here in the greatest nation in the history of the world. I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to attend a dinner and hear the famed historian David McCullough speak. And when he was talking, he said, history is so important. We all need to know and understand history because history gives us two things. One is empathy, and two is gratitude. We all, probably everyone has seen a movie about war, especially as we're coming up to the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Next week, there's going to be a ceremony there at Normandy. I was able to attend the one for the 70th anniversary. And to be there at Normandy, to be able to meet with some of the men who survived, but to see what they all went through in scaling those cliffs. And like I said, you've all probably seen one of these movies, Saving Private Ryan, A Band of Brothers, The Longest Day. To understand that and to try to imagine being in that situation. And all those men who went in there, knowing what the odds were against them, but they were willing to do it. They're doing it for us, so we could be here today, and we could enjoy the freedom that we have, and those around the world could be free. So we learned the empathy as much as we can have, but you can never really know exactly how that felt. The second thing that we get from history is gratitude. Gratitude for what we have that was made possible by those who went before us. All those men and women who have served in the United States Armed Forces through the years. Especially on Memorial Day, we remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, those who died for us, for our freedom. But also all of our veterans, we remember, and we are grateful. Every day in what I do, I remember to do all I can for veterans. So I want to thank our veterans so much for what you have done for us. If there's ever anything I can do for you, my door is always open, office right here. Anything I can do for you, please let me know. We can never repay you, but we all have to do everything we can for all of our men and women who have fought for us and those who are still out there today. Those who are out there today, please pray for them and pray for their safety. Pray for peace, although we know we need to be prepared to defend ourselves. But pray for peace and for all those men and women out there. And when they come home, please care for them and care for their families as they are away. So today, thank you all for being here today as we remember those who made it possible for us to be here and living in our freedom today. And I want to say God bless all of you here, especially God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you. We know we have a member of our post who was a D-Day veteran. He was recently honored with a street named after him here in Oak Lawn, Bob Wilcox. Our next speaker will be the mayor of the Village of Oak Lawn, Dr. Sandra Berry.
Good morning. I want to thank you, Congressman Lipinski, for being such a stalwart and vigilant supporter of our veterans and their needs, and as well as the Village of Oak Lawn and what we need. I want to thank everyone who's out here today. It's wonderful to see such a good turnout. It means so much to the veterans who are here, and it means so much to me. This is a really tough Memorial Day. My father was a World War II vet, and we just buried him a few weeks ago. And I've been spending the last few weeks looking at a lifetime of memories, stacks of photo albums, looking at his children, the accomplishments of his children, and all the good that came because he lived his life here. And I got up this morning and I thought, how lucky am I, but what a tragedy for all of those who don't have that, who lost their lives in service to our nation. All those unfulfilled dreams, the lifetime of memory, the stacks of photo books that aren't there. And it's so important to be here to remember them. My father would often remember his friends in the war who passed away. An accident, a plane crash, some tragedy. And he felt it was important to keep their memories alive because that kept them alive, so to speak. All of you being here today are keeping their memories alive. And that's so personal and so wonderful. And it's what we should do as a community, what we should do as a nation. And I just want to thank you all. We must never forget the price of freedom, that freedom isn't free. And please take a look at the wall behind us. On the other side are all the names of those who don't have, again, the stacks of photo albums, the children, the memories. And just God bless them. God bless the thousands and thousands of others. And please keep them all in your prayers. And let's never forget. God bless America. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Barry. Our next speaker will be Village Clerk Jane Quinlan.
Morning, everyone. This is always a touching day, and Congressman Lipinski and the mayor summed it up pretty good. And I sat down in my chair here, and my friend, my young Navy friend, World War II, leaned over to me and he said, I waited all year long to come to this ceremony to see you, Jane. And I said, not as much as I'm glad to see you here today with us. We love you. Thank you for your service. And I thought of the mayor's dad, too, this morning. He was just a great guy. And I thought of my great 8 uncles that served in World War II. They're all buried together, and my father in Korea. And I grew up that these were special days. And the fire and police are here. Our garden club, you can't believe how many nice things they do for the village of Oak Lawn to make it look beautiful. And one lady I want to recognize here her name's Lenore Goodfriend. You know, she worked with Congressman Lipinski for years, and why we're here today is to help and honor our servicemen and their families, and if they need help, well, nobody worked harder than Lenore, and she still does. Thank you, Lenore. So to sum up Memorial Day, we can never forget, but I think these 2 short lines sum it all up. Memorial Day, in honor of many, in memory of all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Our next speaker is Village Trustee and Commander of the Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 84 here in Oak Lawn, Terry Vorderer.
Thank you, Commander Johnson, and a wonderful job there with my wife. First off, I want to thank all the dignitaries that are here today. Your coming out here kind of rewards us all who have served this country. Obviously, we feel important today. Mayor, village trustees, great job. Thank you very, very much. To our police and fire department, thanks for coming out. And to my fellow veterans, men and women, I'm honored and I'm humbled to stand before you and extend my and the Village of Oak Lawn's gratitude for your service to our great country. As veterans who have served America, We have given years of our lives, sweat, and some our blood to protect the ideals of America. But today is Memorial Day, reserved to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. On the reverse side of this granite wall are carved the names of Oak Lawn residents who gave their all. We honor them and all the other veterans who have died in the service of America. Recently, I was in San Francisco and I took the opportunity to go to their war memorial. Carved in their wall is a poem written by Archibald MacLeish, a World War I soldier. And I'd like to share that with you today. The young dead soldiers do not speak. Nevertheless, they are heard in the still houses. Who has not heard them? They have a silence that speaks for them at night. And when the clock counts, they say, "We were young, we have died. Remember us." They say, "We have done what we could, but until it is finished, it is not done." They say, "We have given our lives, but until it is finished, no one can know what our lives gave." They say, "Our deaths are not ours, they are yours. They will mean what you make of them." They say, "Whether our lives and our deaths were for peace and a new hope or for nothing, we cannot say. It is for you to say. We leave you our debts. Give them some meaning. We were young," they say. "We have died. Remember us." God bless America.
Our next speaker will be newly elected trustee Paul Mello.
Thank you. I should have went after Terry. That could have been a very nice ending. I wasn't really prepared with a poem or a speech for that, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for being here today. It's an amazing turnout and just an opportunity to give back and try to remember the past. And this morning was tough. I had two grandparents that I really didn't get an opportunity to know, but to remember them and give an opportunity to at least be here and say their names is something that, for me, my grandfather Matt Fitzgerald served from 1940 to 1945 in World War II. My grandfather Edmund Mallow served in 1940, 1945 in World War II, and all the cousins that I have that served. I'm very lucky to have my father, Robert Mallow, who served in Vietnam, was brought back early because his father, Edmund, who served in World War II, had passed away while he was gone, while he was in Vietnam, and they had to bring him back. And he never really got that opportunity to be there with his father at the end. And it's touching to me to be able to be there and see my kids be able to be there with their grandfather. That I never really had that opportunity, or he never really had that opportunity to be with his father. So thank you. Mr. Lipinski said it phenomenally, the inspiration he put towards into me just now to remember them and remember the people in your family that did serve, because so many of our kids just, they don't know those stories, and to keep those stories alive is something very special, and these kids need to understand what was given before them. So thank you so much for this opportunity to talk.
At this time, a young man, Timothy Harton, will favor us with a song that he wrote in honor of veterans.
With no hesitation, you said you would go from the moment you heard the alarm. With love for your nation, you offered yourself to defend and protect us from harm. The tears flowed so freely as we said goodbye, never knowing how long you'd be gone. We were so devastated when we heard the news that you wouldn't be coming back home. So grateful we are for the promise you kept, for those long, lonely nights when you hardly slept. So we pause to give thanks on this holiday. From the bottom of our hearts we say, we will always remember how you fought so we could be free. We will always remember how courageous and brave you chose to be. You were willing to die so that others could live, so you paid the ultimate price. We will always remember your sacrifice. We're the land of the free. Because of the brave, we're united as one family. And you are a hero who laid down your life to remind us that freedom's not free. You fought to the end, even though hope was lost. You protected our nation, no matter the cost. So we give you our love on this holiday. From the bottom of our hearts we say, we will always remember how you fought so we could be free. We will always remember how courageous and brave you chose to be. You were willing to die so that others could live, so you paid the ultimate price. We will always remember your sacrifice. And it's hard to imagine where we would be if it wasn't for heroes like you. So devoted you were to the country you serve. Now we give you the honor you're due. We will always remember how you fought so we could be free. We will always remember how courageous and brave you chose to be. You were willing to die so that others could live, and so you paid the ultimate price. We will always remember your sacrifice.
Thank you. Beautiful. Comrade Officer of the Day, you will have the Honor Guard fire a volley salute for all those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Please rise. Present arms.
Present arms.
Order arms.
Captain's coming.
Present arms. This concludes our ceremony. You're all invited back to the VFW post for coffee and donuts if you would like to make the trek over there. Thank you so much for coming today.